The UPSC CSAT arena is an ever-evolving space where staying up to date becomes as crucial as maintaining a thorough preparation. With strategic planning and holistic coverage for exam syllabus, Vision IS Delhi presents GS Foundation course. Avail analysis and integration of current affairs with GS syllabus. All India test series with an innovative assessment system, inculcating post-test analysis, discussion, all India ranking, and more. Explore the holistic learning modules intrinsically designed for the ideal aspirant.
Good evening, everyone. Any of you have appeared for this last prelims exam? So what do you think about CSAT paper? CSAT paper, we are here for CSAT only. So what do you think? CSAT paper is like doable, it is difficult. What did you find? Okay. Okay, but as compared to 23, it was not correct. And RC was difficult. Yes, RC. And this 24, like RC was the most difficult. If we compare to the previous years, it was the most difficult. What do you think? 23, it was tough. Between, like that difficulty level lies between 22 and 23. Okay. So we'll take up this discussion in 3 parts. Like we'll take an overall approach. Then we'll try to discuss about maths part, how we can deal with it, what kind of question they are asking, what is the difficulty level, what are the trends. Then briefly we'll discuss about LR and RC part. Correct? So what do you think, CSAT, how it has become very important? Like if we talk about 3-4 years back, it was not that important. But how it became important? Because many students, they started failing in this CSAT paper. Why they started failing? Because UPSC made the paper very difficult. So earlier it was like we were just going for last 2-3 years paper. We were just solving it and appear for the CSAT paper. And it was like we were getting like 125, 30, this way we were getting marks. Then that time also the criteria was same, 33% marks. But they have made this paper very difficult. Because of that, many students, if they were following the same strategy, they failed. So they started thinking of, now we have to study. And this is happening like in 22, 23, 24 also. Many students failed because of the less preparation. If we are not able to qualify the CSAT paper, we cannot be in the list. So it is just qualifying in nature, but still it is having very importance in this UPSC examination. So what we can do, What is this nature of this examination? Everyone might be aware of it. Ki what is the nature of this exam? So nature of examination mein we can see ki everyone knows ki it is qualifying in nature. If it is qualifying in nature, what does it mean? What are the criterias? How many marks are there? टेक्निकल टीम से कैन यू प्लीज मेक इट लाइक ब्लैक? ये बीपीटी भी ब्लैक है, ये वाइट हो जाएगा. प्लीज आस्क देम टू मेक इट ब्लैक द बैकग्राउंड. So how many marks do we need to pass in this paper? 66 or 66.66? It is 33% or 1/3? Is it written? Yes, it is 33%. It is not written like 1/3 of the total marks we need to get. We need to get 33%. 33% of 200, that is 66. That means at least this much marks we need to score. Then only we can clear this exam. Then 66 marks. That means how many questions we need to get correct? That means out of 80 questions, total 80 questions are asked. Out of 80, if we are attempting just 27 questions, and all the 27 questions are correct, that means we can clear this exam. That is more than 66 marks. So out of 80, just 27 questions. But we cannot be that efficient. 100% efficiency we cannot have. So for that, we need to have like something around 50 questions, 55 questions, 60 questions. These many questions we need to attempt. Then only after deducting negative marks, we can go beyond this 27 questions wala barrier. So the next thing, what we can have, how many sections we have? How many parts do we have for this? Okay. How many parts do we have for CSAT? One is maths part, another is logical reasoning, another is RC. 3 parts are there. And how many questions asked by UPSC from these parts? How we can get that? Is this written in the syllabus? Like 1/3 will be asked from maths part, 1/3 from LR part, 1/3 from RC part. Is that written in the paper, in the syllabus of the UPSC? Nowhere it is written. So how we can get this idea? We can see the previous year papers and we can get a trend. Sorry, how many questions are asked from these 3 parts? So previously, if we see, like 5 years before, the pattern was this way. From RC part, around 35 questions were asked. Roughly around 50% questions. Then remaining from maths and LR part. 5 years back. But now the trend has changed. From this maths part, roughly around 40 questions are asked. That means 50% questions are coming from this maths part. And from LR part, if we see the previous trends, we can have roughly around 15 questions. And this RC, we can see roughly 25 to 30. It is like 27, 28, 29. This way we are getting questions. And RC mein, if we see last few years mein, we got roughly around 18 passages. With 9 passages having 2 questions, 9 passages having 1 question. This way we are getting trends. And this can vary. It can be like 18, 19, 20, 17. This way it can vary. So the trend we have seen, it has changed. Have you seen previous year's paper? Other than those who did not appear last year, last to last year? Like CSAT paper 21, 22, 23, 24. Have you seen those papers? Yes? So what did you find? What kind of questions they are asking? Have you done your assessment for the CSAT? Like, how do you feel about the CSAT paper? What kind of preparation do you need? Is it very difficult? Should you start very early, or it is not that difficult? So that depends upon different backgrounds. Few are arts and humanities background. And science background students are also there. Science may we have like doctors also. We have this bio wala part also. Then we have engineers. So for them, like BSc in mathematics, MSc in mathematics, statistics, physics, then engineering background student. For them, this maths part may look familiar or not. For them, do they need to prepare for this CSAT maths part or no? Any engineering background student? So, what do you think? Maths, do you need to prepare? What, like the last time you were studying this maths part, that is related to this UPSC CSAT syllabus. For you also it is like 10 years back, or in placements also, you might have come across these CSAT questions, maths, LR, these questions you might have come across. But after then it is like nowhere you have practiced these questions. Otherwise, if you are having some kids who are in high school, 7th, 8th, 9th standards, and if you are teaching them and you are asked to teach them, then you might have to study. Otherwise, it is like we have left these things for 10 to 15 years. And after then we started looking for what is this CSAT, what is this maths part, what is this LR part. Although we are familiar with the topics, but still we're not very sure about how we are going to perform in these parts. For arts and humanities background student, what do you think when they can start this preparation? The thing is, you cannot start like just 2 months back. You need to devote like 5 to 6 months. Because everything will be new for you. And if you feel this maths part is very difficult for me, I will go for just RC and LR part. Can you risk that? Why? We have seen from maths, 50% questions are coming. roughly around 40 questions. We can see from LR, roughly around 15 questions. From RC, roughly around 25 to 30 questions. So if we go by just one part, RC, reasoning, or just maths, we cannot rely on this strategy. Because if we go by just maths, if someone is very good in mathematics part, like all the 40 questions, he or she can attempt, but still there are chances. Few questions are very lengthy because you have limited time. So you can roughly attempt 25 to 30 questions. That too, you have to devote like 2 hours. And out of which, you cannot be sure that all the questions are correct. You need to have 27 correct questions. So you need to go with all these 3 parts. You cannot leave any part. And it is for both the background student, arts and science background student. It is important. And we don't know what can be the proportion. Like nowhere it is written, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 they are going to ask. So there is a possibility that this year from maths part they are asking just 10 questions. This can be a possibility, nowhere it is written. From LR part they are asking like 30 questions. From RC part they are asking like 20 questions, 10 questions, 15 questions or 50 questions. Nowhere it is written. So there are chances it can be a possibility. And after the examination, you will feel clear why this happened this year only. Why me? So for that, we need to be sure that we need to prepare all these 3 parts thoroughly. Then only we can be sure that we will clear the CSAT paper, because we have worked a lot, worked very hard for GS part. And because of this CSAT, I'm not able to clear this paper. So why to leave this part CSAT? It is very important, and it's not like you cannot understand the topics which are there in the CSAT. If you devote time, you will get the idea. Like some humanities background student, someone is not very familiar with the economics. For those students, economics is very difficult, but still they have to read. We have paper 3 in mains, economics. We have to read economics, we cannot leave that. So there we are going to study hard. There we are going to understand the topics, the concepts, and how to write answers, different data we are going to remember, different concepts we are going to learn. Why not this CSAT part, maths? So if you feel I'm not very sure what would happen for this CSAT paper, and you are leaving this part after 1 week, after 1 month, after 2 months, I will start. Once I complete my polity, once I complete my economics part, once I complete my history part. So this way you might be setting some targets. Abhi nahi. It is not the right time. I will start after some time. What you can do, if you are preparing CSAT, like every day you are devoting some 30 minutes. Or you are devoting every week like 3 hours, 4 hours or 5 hours every week. Within 2 months you will feel that this CSAT part is not that difficult. I will be able to clear this CSAT paper. And this will make you feel confident also. It will help in your GS preparation also. Back of the mind mein you will not think here CSAT is left. You have started reading CSAT and you are sure that it is not that difficult. I'm done with so many concepts and 80% syllabus of the CSAT is completed. So that will boost your confidence also. It will help in GS preparation also. Otherwise you will fail here. What would happen with the CSAT? What would happen? While you are reading GS, you will think once or twice ki CSAT kab. And when some of your friends would say ki I appeared for CSAT, I got just 55. You will think यार मैंने तो शुरू भी नहीं किया है. So these things are like confidence building exercise. Confidence is key for this UPSC preparation. It is a marathon and it is like 1.5 years we are going to devote for this preparation. So not all the time we can be so confident. So these are the tools with which we can feel confident. So this is like what are different parts of CSAT, maths, RC, LR part, and what are the trends, how questions are being asked. So what is the current trend which we can expect कि next year this way the proportion of questions we can see in the paper. So what is the current trend? That is like from maths part, we can have like roughly around 40 questions. From LR, roughly around 15 questions. From RC, roughly around 25 questions. It can vary plus minus 2. Correct? This is the current trend we can have. Then we have seen the trend, and trend says ki what is the weightage of all these three sections. Which is having more weightage in this, if we see. But it is not the same. Like it is 50% weightage, we cannot say it is 50% weightage. Like out of 40, if you're not very strong in maths part, so you are going to attempt like 20 questions. You are going to attempt here like 10 questions. You are going to attempt here like 20 questions. So what we can see the weightage here, again 50%, but out of LR, more than 50% it is the weightage. This is also more than 50%. So what we can have, we need to see different parts and how many questions, because roughly we are going to leave more than 20 questions. So the number of questions you are leaving like 20, 25, 30 questions we are going to leave in the paper. How many questions? Like most of the questions, one is leaving from maths. Most of the question, one is leaving from RC part. Most of the question, one is leaving from LR part. That would decide ki what is the weightage of these sections in the examination for you. So what, after then what can be the strategy? We'll go to the topics and subtopics also in detail, and what kind of question they are asking and how we can solve them. So what can be the strategy for you in the examination hall? If you get the paper, what you do? In any exam. In academics also what you do? In academics what we do? Like we try to see the questions, ki how many questions are coming from our notes. This we try first. Then if many questions are coming from our notes, we are very happy, we are very confident ki chalo ab to ho gaya. If not, then we think ki how many questions are coming. Those questions we mark and first we write them so that some confidence we can get. And after then, we try to apply our previous knowledge, how we can get scores, and try to see ki what others are writing, try to get help from others. This way you do or not in the examination hall, in academics, not in UPSC. So this way we are going to approach. The same way we can go for this paper also. First we can identify ki which questions we are going to do first. For which topics we have good understanding, so that we can solve them with greater accuracy. So we are going to identify them and then we are going to mark them. Ki these are the questions we are going to solve. After then, what you do? You divide time also. Ki this much time duration I am going to apply for this part, this much duration for another part. Like for maths and LR, you can devote like 50 minutes, 60 minutes, 65 minutes, 40 minutes, depending upon your previous experience, which can come from the mock test. After then, you're going to solve like RC, 40 to 50 minutes. Then the remaining time for the questions with which we can maximize our attempt. So this way we are going to have some strategy. It can be like, what do you think? We should start with maths or LR part, or should we start with RC part, the paper, CSAT paper? RC se, why? Because you are comfortable with RC? Is that so? So what happens with RC, if you have not practiced many mock tests, if you start with RC, there are passages, and passages are like UPSC has now started asking small passages. There are small passages, but questions are tricky. They are difficult. Options are difficult. So what happens if you read passage once and you are reading the question, you have to reread the question again and again. 3-4 times you have to read that passage again and again. And if you're not sticking to the time, you're not seeing ki like 15 minutes are gone, and you have attempted just 2 questions or 1 passage or 2 passage, 4 questions. So if this way you are attempting, so in 60 minutes, you will be like completing 10 questions. And after 60 minutes, if you see the watch, it is like your 60 minutes, just 10 or 15 questions. And then you will be in panic mode. So again, that can be a good strategy, like you are starting with RC because you are comfortable with what you can do. You can see the watch every after 15 minutes, every after 10 minutes, so that you can have a track how many questions you have attempted. If you are attempting less number of questions, you can navigate to other parts. It's not like first I will complete this RC part only. In the examination hall also it can change. We can navigate from one part to another part. But the basic idea is we need to attempt these many number of questions with some accuracy. So that is what we can do. And most of the people, most of the student, they can go with this strategy, maths and LR, try to devote some time and try to solve few questions. Like devote these many minutes, like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, 55, 60, 65, whatever you feel. And that comes from the previous mock tests and how many readings you have done and how good you are with the concepts. Then move for this RC part. And initially what happens if we start RC questions, initially we want to make the questions correct. So in RC questions, if we feel that this question is like all the 4 options are incorrect, which can be the correct answer? So we start reading again and again the passage. Then it kills our time. If we are doing at the end, so we are having time constraint. So we conclude early. So that is like 2 ways you can go. Either you can start with RC or you can start with maths or LR part. But this tracking of time is very important and try to navigate the topics in between if you feel that we are devoting more time. After then, you attempt questions and also take a count. Like how many questions you have attempted. Count is also important. Rough count we need. Like in 60 minutes, in 40 minutes, in 80 minutes, in 100 minutes, how many questions we have attempted. So count is also very important. So these things, these are the strategies, but it can come after some practice. Correct? And in the examination hall, the pressure is very high because CSAT is the second paper. Before that, we have appeared for GS paper. And after GS1, 3 hours का break होता है, 4 hours का. 3 hours. And what we do in these 3 hours? When we come out of the examination hall, that center, many coaching institutes, they provide answer key then and there only. And they in hurry provide wrong answer keys. And everyone is like discussing about what is the answer of this question. Tune kya lagaya? Tune kya lagaya? This answer key is giving us this, and everyone is Googling about the answers. So, like these 3 hours are gone in discussing these things. And we don't take any rest. We do not sleep. But GS paper 1 se pehle, we try to take a good sleep, although it is not there. Diya tha na exam. So have you slept well before the exam? No. You were trying to sleep early, but so different strategies students adopt, like will have a very good, very heavy dinner so that I can sleep. Or will not have a dinner, will take coffee or caffeine. So many strategies student they adopt, but for GS1 at least we are laying, we are resting, although we are thinking about what we have like read, what we have revised, what we have not. But these 3 hours are like gone. We are not relaxing, we are discussing about the things, and in the meantime we get so many answers incorrect. That also they will tell us. If you're not interested in discussion, then also they will ask कि आपने क्या लगाया था इसका answer. Even if you're not telling them the correct answer, they will tell you कि what is the correct answer. Then you can get that idea कि see, यार मेरा तो गलत हो गया इसका. Even if you're not telling them what is the correct answer or what you have marked. Because of these things, we are like drained, and then the CSAT paper comes. And we are having like 2 hours. So because of these things, whatever the performance we were having in the mock test, it is lesser than that in the actual examination hall. That is why if this barrier is like 66 marks, we need to think of we are going to get like more than 80. Fix that barrier as 80. Ki if I'm going to get more than 80 marks, then only I can qualify this. So try to prepare for that. The barrier is like high because of the prevailing condition which you can face in the examination hall. So this is about the CSAT thing. And right now, like after 23 paper, are you aware that students, they started protesting about the CSAT paper? So there they started demanding about that cutoff must be lowered down to 23%. But it was not accepted by UPSC, and UPSC was like, we're not going to change anything. Come and appear for the examination, we'll see what we can do. So what UPSC did in 24, the difficulty level was slightly lower. And how it was slightly lower? What happened in 24 paper? Because of the maths part. Because of this maths part, what happened in that? The questions which were asked from permutation and combination were like 0. No question was asked from permutation and combination. And it is a difficult topic of mathematics. And 23 mein what happened? They asked around 7, 8, 9 questions on this part only. And most of these questions were difficult. So this year, but what they did, this RC part, they made this RC part difficult as compared to 23. So in one way or another, UPSC is going to play games. So we need to be prepared for those things. So if we talk about this maths part, What are the topics, important topics from which UPSC is asking questions? And what is the syllabus for this part? Have you seen the syllabus? What is there in the syllabus? It is written basic numeracy, and then data interpretation. Two things are there in the syllabus. With this, we cannot have any great idea about what kind of question they are asking, what different topics or subtopics are there. We cannot have any idea. So what we can go for like PYQs. Then we can get some idea what different topics and subtopics are there. Like the most important topic is number system. Then the second important topic is like percentage, profit loss, discounts. And then we have like time and work. We have time, speed, and distance. We have averages. We can say we have set theory also. We have permutation combination. Basic probability is also there. And then we have like algebra, geometry, mensuration. We have simple interest, compound interest, we have data interpretation. We have like one common topic, like this way, data is sufficient or not. This is not a different topic. This can be asked for any of these topics. Like time and work ka one question is there, or number system ka one question is there, and they are asking, they will provide some information in statement 1 and 2, and they will ask, can we get the answer with the help of these two statements? That is called data sufficiency part. So it is like for all these topics and subtopics. Subtopics are there. Do we have any other topics? Yes, we have ratio, mixture. These topics are there. Proportion, ratio, rates, and mixtures. What else? Any other topic do we have? Anyone? So these are the topics. If you're not remembering other topics, we can write miscellaneous. LCM, HCF, it will be part of the number system only. And if we, these are the like topic listing. These are the important topics from which we are getting questions. Then the next question is, which topics are more important? And what is the trend we can see? How many questions are asked from these topics in previous years? Yes? Anything? Previous? Any topic you want to add? It's okay? Okay. So, if we see the previous year's trend, the most important topic here is this number system. This is the most important topic. And if we see last 5 years, 50% questions from maths part. Roughly around 20 questions. 15 to 20 questions. We can get from this number system part. And if we go for this percentage, profit loss, discount, if we combined with this simple interest, combined interest, ratios and mixtures, around 5 to 8 questions. Because ratio mixtures may be what happens, there is application of percentage. Then this time and work, 1 or 2 question every year. This time, speed and distance, the same pattern, 1 or 2 question. Sometimes they have asked like 3-4 questions from time, speed and distance. And what happens like 23 May, this time, speed and distance, no question. 24, no question. This way also it happens. No questions are asked from any of these topics. Like not all the topics. From some topics they will ask questions. Then we have this averages. Again 1 or 2 questions. This set theory part, 1 or 2 questions. Like 1 year what they do, they pick one topic and ask many questions. Like from set theory, from averages, in one of the years they ask like 5-6 questions. So this can happen this year also. Then this permutation combination, if we club with the probability. So probability say what happens, like every 2-3 years just one question. Like this year no question, last year no question, last to last year no question, but before that one question. So in 3 years, one question they can ask from probability. But this permutation combination say they are asking question. In last 4-5 years, they asked like 5 to 8 questions. 5 to 8 questions. But this year no question was asked. And we can expect the same in 25 also. But still, we need to read the concepts. If basic questions are coming, we will be able to solve them. Then this part, say roughly no questions are asked. This is not that important. Only formulas we need to know. This is like one question every year. And we have already clubbed this SICI in this percentage part. Then DI say, data interpretation. Earlier they were asking like 5 to 6 questions. But right now, not a single question they are asking from this data interpretation. Like earlier, we were having pie diagram. Then we were having bar diagram. So they were providing one diagram. On the basis of this diagram, they were asking 3-4 questions. But right now, they are not asking this way. Like 22, 23, I think last question from this DI part, they have asked on pie diagram. Just one question based on that pie diagram. Right? Then this data is sufficient or not? Every year we can see that this is across all the topics they are asking. We can have like 5 to 8 questions from this data sufficiency part. But this is like a question which is based on this number system concept that we have already mentioned. 20 questions they are asking. Out of these 20 questions, few would be from this data sufficiency part. Correct? So this is like ratio mixtures, 1 or 2 question. which we have already included in this percentage profit loss and discount. So this way we can see the pattern, the trend, how many questions are being asked from different topics. So what we can understand from here, this number system is the most important topic. If this number system is the most important topic, what are different subtopics for it? First is number of zeros concept. Then we have 2-digit, 3-digit numbers. We have divisibility rules. We have classification of numbers. We have the concept of unit digit. Then we have the concept of, like we can say, key manipulation of digits. Then we can have LCM, HCF concept. We have like the concept of smallest or biggest numbers. Then we have listing of numbers. We have the concept of number of pages. Then we have miscellaneous part in this. So these are the subtopics of number system from which every year questions are being asked. Number of pages. Book में numbering होती है ना pages की, that is number of. Miscellaneous में what they do? They take the concept of this unit digit. They combine this concept of unit digit with classification of numbers or divisibility rule or number of zeros. So this way they club 2-3 concepts and ask one question. That is miscellaneous part. Sorry. Sixth one, that is manipulation of digits. Like 3, 4, 5, like A, B, C is there, a 3-digit number, correct? And then we are reversing the digits, or it is multiplied by another 2-digit number, D, E, then we are going to get some product. There also we can get here E, here B, C, this way. Then they will ask what are the values of A, B, or what is the sum of A plus B plus C. This way they are asking questions, correct? Yes? So you want to get one source or material? See, if we see the NCERTs, everything is based on NCERT. The concepts we can get from the NCERTs. So we can pick NCERTs to get the concepts. But the questions they are asking, like in GS also, what is the role of NCERT? Like NCERTs are must, because we build up the concept over these NCERT books. But the questions if we see from the NCRTs, we get like 10 to 20 questions we can say, but few of them are applied also, and very few direct question we can get, correct? In CSAT maths, what happens, we need to have a very good concept. Like economics NCRT, if we read, then also we cannot get the concept very clear. The same thing will happen with the CSAT also, the maths also. See, what we can do, you read the book, try to solve the basic questions which are there in that book. Then if you are not able to solve the previous year questions, like you are doing your assessment, based on that reading, how you are performing. Then in some topics you will feel you're not very confident and your accuracy is not that much. So what you can do, you can go for like, first thing, you can join classes. Second thing, if you're not able to join the classes, we have online tutorials. So like YouTube pay, everything is there. So you can get those concepts. And if you want the questions, question set, if you want like number system, divisibility rules. So Google may you can put this classification of numbers, then question with answers, then /PDF. You can get hundreds of results. You can get practice questions for this part. Yes, what I am suggesting, there is no specific book, yes, because these are concepts. So to understand these concepts, we need to have very live examples. So first try to understand what are different topics, subtopics. Make a list of these previous year questions. Then for these subtopics and topics, you can have like video tutorials, online tutorials. If you're not coming to the classes, Google Pay, YouTube Pay, everything is there. Like earlier in our time when we were preparing, that time there was lack of content. We were not having any content. So we need to beg for the notes. But right now, we are having lots of content. What to read, what to skip, what to leave, that is like a big problem. Correct? So the best idea is you list out all these topics, then try to get the video tutorials for this. And it will not take much time. Try to understand those concepts and try to solve the previous year questions. Sare concept ke mil jayenge. It is like there. But it takes some time to research for it, then try to find out the right video for that. And there is a problem of authenticity also. What they are providing in that video is correct or not. Correct? That is also a case. So for that, you need to be sure what kind of videos we are following. And this way you can do. And everything is available. Okay, so you're having mic also.
How to deal, sir?
How to deal with that? Like you are asking, ki sometimes in the examination, we are attempting a question and the answer of that question, what you are getting, is not there in any of the 4 options. It is a very rare case. In CSAT, it is very common. So why it is happening? Because one thing is less practice. Another thing is we need to learn what is the art of leaving questions in CSAT. So we need to have that idea which question we can leave. We'll try to see, we have that PDF, we'll try to see what kind of questions we can simply leave. But if this happens in simpler questions, then we need to work hard for that. Like what kind of topic say that question is asked? How familiar are you with that topic? If that topic is like divisibility rules, and you know what are divisibility rules, and one question is asked, and you are getting the incorrect answer. So next thing what you can do, First, think of how much time you have devoted for this. Like you have devoted just 30 seconds. You can devote extra 30 seconds by going through elimination technique. Correct? Otherwise, if you have devoted 2 minutes for this, don't go for extra 1 minute. Just leave that question, mark it, circle it, and proceed for the next question. Correct? That is why what we were discussing, what we can do in the initial time. When the paper starts, we need to identify what are the questions which we are going to solve, which we are going to attempt, and then we are going to divide that time. Correct? But this will happen, and this can go with the more number of mock tests. More number of mock tests. So this would be a rare case then. Anna? Any other question? Done? So these are the subtopics for number system. So are you familiar with any of these subtopics? LCM, HCF? You are familiar with this? So sometimes what happens if I ask what is the LCM of 10 and 15 and what is the HCF of 10 and 15. So if we know that concept, then we can simply tell what is it. But sometimes what happens, we read this concept but long ago. We know LCM, HCF, somehow we calculate this, but right now we are not remembering it. Anyone? A simple concept like LCM mein, it is what? What is LCM? Least common multiple. So least common multiple. So first we need to understand what are multiples. If 10 is there, what are the multiples of 10? Basically the table of 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, these are the multiples of 10. Then we have written here 15. What are the multiples of 15? 15, 30, 45, 60, correct? So this way it can go till infinite, it can go till infinite. It is written the second thing from right, common. What are common multiples here? We can have 30, then we can have 60. So this way the multiples of 30 would be the common multiples, 30, 60, 90, 120, this way. Then it is written least common multiple. So what is the least common multiple? So common multiples we can see, it is 30, 60, 90, this way. Least of them would be 30. So our answer is 30. So this way we can understand the basic concepts. What are the literal meaning of it? What are the conventional approach? How we can get the answer? Then if I talk about the HCF, HCF is what? Highest common factor. So if I take 10, what are the factors? First we need to understand what are the factors. What are the factors of 10? 1, 2, 5, 10. What are the factors of 15? 1, 3, 5, 15. So these are the factors of 10 and 15. What are the common factors? 1, 5, just 2 common factors we can get. So what is the highest common factor? 5. 5 is our answer. So these are the basic concepts from where we can start these things. Correct? So if I take any number, any two numbers A, B, which are natural numbers, starting from 1. If I ask, what can be the maximum possible value of the LCM of AB? LCM की बात कर रहे हैं. We are talking about LCMs, least common multiple. So we can have this way, the multiple of A, 3 way, 3A this way, multiple of B, this way, the table of B. This A and B can take any value, correct? So what can be the maximum possible value? So if options are this way, like first option is A into B, second option is A, third option is B, fourth option is 0. So what can be the answer? Now if this way variables are given in the question and options are provided, then we can check with the options. What can be the answer for this? What can be the maximum possible value of LCM of these two numbers, A and B? A into B, how? That is also one way to think of. We can, yes, correct. If we take two numbers, what is the LCM? What is the LCM? What is the LCM? Here in this case, 30. Here in this case, 20. Here in this case, 63. If we take these values are like AB, A key value is 10 here, B key value 15, A key value 10, B key value 20. This way we are putting some values for A and B. Here in this case we are getting LCM as what? It is less than AB. A into B if we take, we are taking the first option. We are getting less than this AB key value. Here also we are getting less than 20 into 30. Here it is 9 into 7, 63. That means again one more concept we are getting, that is co-prime numbers. Where we are having common factor as 1. Where we can get the LCM key value, just multiply these two numbers. So to understand this concept, this LCM concept or HCF concept, first we need to understand what are the classification of numbers. Classification of numbers may, like we have natural numbers, we have real numbers, we have rational number, we have irrational number, we have whole numbers. So we need to understand that whole concept, where 0 can play a very important role. In the classification of numbers, we can understand about this even number, odd number, and what are different properties of it. Then we can go for this LCM HCF thing, and this can be a like probable question. This can be a probable question. And same way, you just think of this next question, A, B, two numbers, where A is greater than B, then what can be the maximum possible value of the HCF of these two numbers? The same way for LCM. Like for LCM, we understood that it is A into B. For HCF also we need to understand. So we'll take up, like this is, for this we need to understand first the classification of numbers. So what do you think? What are classification of numbers? Just a brief idea, and it is very important topic. Why? Because every year at least 2 questions we get from this subtopic, classification of numbers. So this topic is very important. So classification of numbers में we can see some questions. कि what kind of questions we see here.
Does the vast syllabus of general studies for the UPSC prelims overwhelm you to initiate your preparation for the civil services examination? Is your apprehension and self-doubt coming in the way of your success in joining the civil services? Comprehend your preparation for UPSC Prelims 2025 with the fast-track course targeting general studies with innovative curriculum, revision and mentorship. Starting from 19th November at 1 p.m., the course offers coverage of UPSC GS Prelims subjects, dedicated mentorship support and guidance for performance maximization, access to PT 365 classes for current affairs preparation, sectional mini tests for regular assessment and performance, personalized student portal to access study material, access to live and online classes. Enroll today and make prelims your stepping stone to proceed to the UPSC mains.
See this question. For what value of n these sum of digits in the number 10 to the power n plus 1 is 2. This is a real number. So this is a question. This is a previous year question. So see, this is a question. What do you think, what can be the answer for this question? A. So first we need to understand sum of the digits. What does it mean? If a number is written like 10, what is sum of digits here? So these are digits. This is unit place digit 0. This is 10th place digit. So sum of digit, it is 1 plus 0. That is 1. If I write 1, 1, 1, what is sum of digits? It is 111 the number. Sum of digits, 1 plus 1 plus 1, that is 3. Correct? And it is written, ki sum of digits in the number this, 10 to the power n plus 1 is 2. Option may we can see for n is equal to 0. For any whole number n. So first we need to understand what are whole numbers. So whole numbers start from 0. Natural numbers start from 1. Correct? And real numbers, the superset of this, we can have fraction also, we can have integers, we can have non-integers. That is superset. So if we check with the option E, this is the number 10 to the power n plus 1. N is equal to 0, 10 to the power 0 plus 1. This 10 to the power 0 is what? 1. How it is 1? 10 to the power 0, 1. Why any number to the power 0 is 1? Because of this property. Bases are same, power different. What we write? M minus n. So if I write 10 to the power 15 divided by 10 to the power 15. Basically, this number is divided by the same number. Value would be 1 only. But if we apply this concept, 10 to the power 15 minus 15. What we are getting? Per 0. That is 1. Correct? So n is equal to 0. If we write, what we are getting? 1 plus 1, 2. Sum of digits, 2. That means yes, it is correct. But here next option, for any whole number n. So if we put the next value, n is equal to 1. Then what we are getting? 11. This is what? Sum of digits? 2. N is equal to 2. 100 plus 1. Again sum of digits? 2. So this cannot be our answer. Why? Because it is written only. It is written only. N is equal to 0 only. This cannot be the answer. For any whole number n, so we have taken 2, 3 whole numbers. And what we are getting? Sum of digits as 2. So we'll go with option. This for any positive integer n only. So positive integer, that also we need to understand. What are positive integers? One, 2, 3, 4. Negative integers? -1, -2, -3. Then we have 0. These are integers ka subset. But if I write this way, non-negative integer, then this way also we can get some terms. Non-positive integer. This also a possibility. Non-positive integer. So these terms also we need to know. Non-negative integer, what are these? So it is like if I make a number line 0, 1, 2 till minus infinite till plus infinite. Non-negative integers. So these are like negative integers. These are negative integers. It is written non-negative integers. Just remove them. What we are getting? 0, 1, 2 till infinite. These are non-negative integer. If it is written non-positive integer, so these are positive integer. Remove them. Non-positive. We are left with 0, -1, -2 till minus infinite. This way we can have the idea about different terms. And these terms will come from this classification of numbers. So answer is what? B. Then we can see some questions which we can leave in the examination hall. See this question. Correct? The simple idea is, if you read this question, you know divisibility rule. I am assuming you know divisibility rule of like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13. This way you know divisibility rules. And here everywhere divisibility rules are given. But if you read this question, what time you are going to devote for it? It is time taking. So 1 minute is like reading this question. So if you are reading this question after deleting the first digit from the right, then second after deleting from the right, again this way, the time you read this question, even if you know what are divisibility rules, do not attempt it. Simply leave this question and mark it. I will do this question at the end if time permits, because ultimately it is going to kill your 3, 4, 5 minutes. So that idea we need to have. Leave the question. We need to have this sense कि which question we are going to leave, even if we are comfortable with this topic. Correct? Then some questions, like what other questions we can leave in the paper. The questions which are on data sufficiency. Data is sufficient or not. Like 5, 7, 8 questions we can get on data sufficiency. On those questions, we can see which questions are little difficult. If we see few questions, we'll find like if this way questions are there. Correct? Simply we can see the statements, 2 small statements, then 2 conclusions. Isme it is like data is sufficient or not. This is not the question, but 2 statements are given and 2 answers are given. Which answer is correct? This way they have asked. We can try to attempt this question. Only 2 divisibility rules are involved. Like 2, 3 and 6 is the combination of 2, 3 ka divisibility rule. Then these are different subtopics, like that is remainder thing is there, that unit digit wala concept is there. So that data sufficiency part is there in classification of numbers itself. See this question, like this question is there. Is this greater than this number, where P, Q, R, they are integers? Then statement 1 is given, statement 2 is given. Which of the following is correct in respect of the question and the statement? So this is the question and 2 statements are given. Can we get the answer? This is part of data is sufficient or not. So if this is given, with the help of this information, can we get the answer of this? When the question starts with is, answer can be yes, answer can be no, answer can be can't say. So if we are getting the answer in yes or no, this number is greater than this number, yes, this number is not greater than this number. In both the cases, we will say that the data is sufficient. But if we are not getting any answer, we cannot say. Sometimes it is coming bigger, sometimes it is coming smaller. So we are not sure about it. Then only we can say that data is not sufficient to answer this question. So this type of question is difficult when the question starts with this. So we can mark this type of question and we'll leave that part. And if time permits, at the end we are going to solve it. So this type of strategy we need to think of. And after some practice, you will be able to get the answer. But the questions which are already asked, if the new question is coming into the paper, again it will be as difficult as the first question. So the best idea is leave this question and try to solve it at the end. Correct? So we have seen different subtopics of number system, and then we have seen few questions and questions related to this classification of numbers, and LCM HCF ka one question, basic question we have discussed. So do you want me to discuss more questions, or we can simply go for like reasoning part and RC part? Some basic idea for that also we can discuss. And if time permits, I will try to discuss some more questions on other parts also. Correct? So can we take a break or should we continue? Continue karte hain, half an hour it will take. So The next part is LR part. So LR part में what are different topics? We have seen what is the trend, like roughly around 15 questions we get from LR topic. And LR, this is easier than the maths part. It is not that difficult if we compare with the maths. So these are the important topics list. Like calendar say, every year we get 1 or 2 questions. This blood relations, every year 1 or 2 question. This logs, every year we get questions. Arrangements, linear, it can be circular. Dices, inequalities, clocks, cubes, series, codes. These are the basic topic listing, which are the important ones. From here only we get questions from reasoning. And if we see the topics, for every topic we have simple 2-3 rules. Like for dices also, we have simple rule. For cubes, if you're not familiar with these 2-3 rules for cubes and dices, you will not be able to solve any of these questions. And very simple rules are there. You need to be familiar about those rules. Calendars, every year they are asking questions. And calendar mein, they are clubbing it with the maths part. Like 23 mein, they asked one question that was related to remainders. Like unit digit wala concept, they applied and then they asked. So they are clubbing these reasoning topics with the maths part also. That is why the paper is becoming more difficult. So what we can do for a reasoning part? What we can do the same thing? We can go for some basics. Basics from where we can get? Video tutorials, correct? Or we can have class notes for it. Then some basic questions. And here what happens? This LR part, we can get questions. Banking में आता है, SSC also, CAT also. There also we can get questions on the same topics. Similar to maths also. Maths may be these examination, they ask questions. So if you want a question set, again what you can do, go with this basic concepts and then go to Google Maharaj, or we have right now Chat GPT. So what we can do, we can simply write calendars, questions with explanation. We'll get so many PDFs. And in those so many PDFs, we'll get some PDFs where the questions are there. Or some PDFs may will get few questions ke explanation. Try to see from starting to end. Have they provided answers or not? Then you can go for previous year questions. 11 to 24. So every year like roughly 15 questions are asked. So if we talk about 10 years, then also we are having 150 questions. If we go for this, 180 questions we are having for practicing. And this is for practice, like after this, go for basic questions from these question sets, then go for this assessment thing. Just a second. And in reasoning also, this calendar topic, blood relation, these first three topics, they're very easy, very simple. This dice, cubes, these topics are also very simple, but if we know the rules, these are also very simple. This series and codes wale mein, codes also very simple, but the series wale questions mein what happens, if we know the pattern, we can get within 10 seconds only ki what will be the next term in that series. But sometimes if we devote like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, then also we do not get what is the next term, because we are not able to identify what pattern the series follow. So that time, if you're not able to follow that pattern, sorry, within 10 second, 30 second, leave that question. The simple idea is leave that part, leave that question. Correct? So reasoning may, this logical reasoning part is simpler as compared to maths part. So if you want to start your CSAT preparation, you can start with this.
A strong hold over current affairs is your way to succeed in the UPSC Civil Services examination. Brace yourself and get detailed coverage of relevant news both nationally and internationally. With the monthly current affairs revision program starting from 26th October at 5 p.m. Enroll today and elevate your current affairs knowledge with comprehensive coverage of current affairs compiled through relevant sources such as the Hindu, Indian Express, Economic Times, PIB Yojana, and others. Expert support and personalized mentoring. Comprehensive assessment through MCQs and mains-oriented questions.
Then what about this reading comprehension part? What do you think? What are different sources for RC? What we can do for RC? RC के लिए what do you think? What can be the source to prepare this RC? Newspaper reading. So do we see any passage which is coming from Indian newspapers? So yes, yes, that is the true thing. Like we don't get passages from Indian newspapers, but still, how we can develop that understanding? If any passage is given, so what kind of thinking we can have? If you are reading a passage, what questions we can ask? Like what is the tone of writing? Can we get that idea? It is positive, negative, this idea we can get. What the message author wants to convey? Like what is the crux of the passage? Can we get that idea? If not, then we'll try to develop that thing. Then we'll try to think of, if something is discussed in that passage, what are the arguments author is providing? One would be the main argument on which the passage is based. Another is the supportive argument. Correct? So we need to understand these things first. Then we'll try to see what are different tail words which UPSC is asking in the questions, and what are the meaning of these terms. Then only we'll be able to answer the questions. Like it is asking what is the crux of the passage. Basically, what is the message which author wants to convey. what are the assumptions which author made to write that passage? Then what are the inferences we can draw with the help of the passage? So these things we can get the tailwords. So if we are trying to read a passage and trying to answer the question, we'll get some 4 options. So what further we can do to solve these questions in RC? First thing, we need to stick to the passage information. We cannot go beyond that, because we are preparing for GS, we are having lots of information. One article is related to technology in urbanization, correct? And we have read a lot about urbanization and how technology is playing a role in this, correct? So the passage would be like 4 or 5 lines or 7 8 lines or 9 lines. Earlier UPSC was asking like bigger passages, but right now what UPSC is doing, very small passages they are asking. And language is also not that difficult, but the themes are difficult. So we need to stick to the information which is given in the passage, because we know a lot about it. If a passage is about climate change, 3-4 lines mein what information they can provide? We have read more than 1000 lines on environment, on climate change. So we cannot apply that our knowledge to answer the question of the passage. We need to stick to the information which is given in the passage, because what happens, ki sometimes these passages are written by not the experts. It is written by some political leaders. So there can be so many things. Who has written this? What was the tone of the writing? We can get this sense. What is the crux of this passage? So these things will develop after reading first the newspaper. We can develop that habit. If you are reading any newspaper, we'll try to see what is the tone of writing. So if we read any article in the Hindu, we say if it is against government, what is the tone? So we can get in Indian Express, in the Hindu, what is the tone of the articles? You might be knowing that. So, and what information, like what message that author wants to convey, how we can get that? Initial lines may we can get, in between also we can get that message, concluding remarks maybe we can get that message. So we'll try to find out how to find out the crux of the message. Then what assumptions this author has made, on what basis, what data he has or she has shown. That report is based on, like many times some government report is coming or something is happening, like share market mein what is happening right now, and what happens in like US, how it is connected to India. So this event happened and so many articles are coming. So they are basing those findings based on the reports published by or news published by US or India or some international agencies. So they are making some assumption to write that passage, to provide that information. Then they want to argue with some data, other reports, correct? So that way we need to read the articles. Every day everyone is reading newspaper, or you are relying on current affairs magazines? Both? You are getting that time? It is difficult to cover, but still you are continuing. So how much time you are devoting for reading newspaper? Half an hour. Very good. When you started this? Then it is a fair time. Like if someone started 2 years back, it is like 30 minutes, 45 minutes mein one can complete the newspaper. Otherwise, if you have started right now, it would be taking like how many hours? 3 hours at least. Nahi? Because we are trying to Google it, every information. This, I cannot leave this information. This can come in UPSC exam. What will I do then? And I am making also every notes. This information I cannot leave. Like this can come in the paper. So if you are making notes for 1 month, it is like 1,000 pages. So if you continue that for next 12-13 months, it is like 5,000 pages. And in between, you will be of that mind. No, it cannot be sustainable. We cannot revise those many things. We are not AI. We are human beings. So we have limited capacity. So this way, like for RCs, read everyday newspaper and try to follow newspaper every day and then PYQs. For RCs, we do not have any other source. For RCs, we have just these PYQs. And try to get the answer of these PYQs from UPSC website only. Because every year what happens? After the CSAT examination, all these coachings, they provide answer keys. And every year what happens? 4 to 6 questions, sometimes 8 questions, they are not matching with the UPSC answer key. So if you have appeared for like CSAT and you are matching your answer key with some coachings and you are getting score of 75, then also you cannot be sure you are clearing the CSAT paper or not. If you are getting like 60, then also you cannot be sure you can clear that time. So for these RCs, UPSC answer key is important. Then only we'll get that idea how UPSC thinks about any like question, like these tail words pe, how they are making the judgment, ki which option will be the correct one. And one more thing you will get in RCs, many a times it happens, ki all these 4 options, you feel ki they are incorrect, or you will feel ki all the options are correct. These things will happen more than often. So what you can do, if you feel that all the options are incorrect, then we'll try to see which option is. You leave the question? No? What you will do? If all the options are correct, so we'll try to find out most correct. This is here, least wrong, least. So this you need to do. And this can come after practicing some previous year questions. Try to solve on your own in a limited time duration and then try to match it with the UPSC answer key and see how many questions you are making correct, how many incorrect. If incorrect, then try to think ki what logic UPSC might have applied to make that option correct. And you can develop the same logic after attempting like 4 or 5 years ke questions. It is not like just one question so you can get that logic. Similar type of questions are asked by UPSC and similar type of options they have given as correct. So that thing you will develop after 4 or 5 years ka previous year question solve karne pe. Correct. So this is like all about this CSAT thing. So CSAT mein some do's and don'ts are there, and that thing I think we have discussed. What you can do? First thing, try to make your foundation strong. Conceptual understanding is important. try to make your fundamentals strong. Then try to make notes of these concepts so that you can revise them. Then try to practice basic questions. Basic questions you can get from the classes or video tutorials you are watching. After then, try to go for practicing PYQs. Then after, what can be the probable questions? How we can get that? How we can go for probable question in GS? How we get that? Repeating themes. So that we can get from mock tests. And also you can get in the class notes. And what we cannot do, do not go after shortcuts. Like if you are appearing for SSC, banking, there we have limited time. So we need to have these shortcuts. But here we don't require these. And many times UPSC is asking questions on exceptions where we cannot apply those shortcuts. What else? Every question is of 2.5 marks. So we cannot spend much time on one question. Don't take it on your ego. Okay, I am from graduate from IIT. So how come this question I cannot solve? Leave that question. If you're not getting the answer of that question in 1 minute, just leave that question. What else you can do? What you cannot do? What do you think? Do not use? Yes, like start early. This we need to do. We have written don't. So if we are solving RC question, so do not start late. Don't keep it this like at the end we'll start preparing for CSAT. And that thing is also very important that we have already discussed. Do not over rely on one part. Like I will do just maths part, but we'll leave RC part. We'll do RC part, we'll leave reasoning part or maths part. So, sorry. So these things we need to avoid. And what can be the overall approach? That would depend upon your real assessment. So real assessment can be mock test or previous year paper in 2 hours limit. Like you have started right now. So first thing what you can do, take 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22 ka paper, which you have not solved earlier, and try to attempt in 2 hours. See how many questions you are attempting. Just the real assessment, and be honest with yourself. Do not share this with someone if you feel here I am getting less score, but try to be honest with your performance. Which part mein you are weak, which part mein you are strong. So that assessment must come. Then try to work upon that. Like you are going for video tutorials, yes, you can go for that. Ultimately, we need to cross that barrier of 66 marks. That means basically 80 marks for us, not 66. Because answer keys, that variations are there. So we'll make it 80 ka barrier. Correct? So with this, we can conclude the session. If you are having any doubt or question, just ask me. I can take questions also. Mock tests are needed. Like we need to have at least a 10 mock test. At least. Earlier I was saying just 4 or 5, but at least 10. 10 to 15 we need to appear. Yes? Like you have attempted 40 questions, correct? So what is the proportion of questions from different topics? Like out of these 40, 25 are from RC. In RC, what happens? Accuracy is lower as compared to maths and reasoning part. If most of the questions are coming from this RC part, that means you need to have more attempts. If in these 40 questions, 30 questions are from maths part, 35 questions are maths, then accuracy would be higher. Like here, at least 15 questions, 15 more questions you need if you have attempted more RC questions. If more maths questions are there, 5 to 7 questions more you need to attempt. Correct? So that depends upon what part you have attempted more in numbers. So safe होने के लिए roughly around 50 questions. Roughly around 50 questions. Sorry. CSAT में I don't feel कि guesswork would work. Do not do this. Because in GS we can say कि we can have intelligent guesses. But in CSAT it is tukka only. Correct? So if you are able to eliminate the options in CSAT, yes, that you can do. That you can do. Correct? Any other question? Or any brief topic you want me to discuss? So start this CSAT preparation. Do not leave it for the end. Start it early, you will have the advantage. Correct? Because many of the students, they already started. Those who feel ki it is like difficult for me. So you also, even if you feel ki I am very strong in it, what is the harm in starting right now? Start it, complete the syllabus in just 15 days if you are very good at it. So it will be like the confidence booster. Like one paper I have done, that is completed. I don't need to look it for like at the end. I don't need to devote more time for this. Correct? So start early, and every time it happens, they get benefits. Early birds. Correct? So start it early. Okay? Any other question? Okay. Thank you everyone.